Distinguished listeners, today we shall discuss righteousness in the context of the quest for distinction, adopting letter R in the order of sting the rot. What is righteousness? The Home Health Education Service describes righteousness as purity of heart and rectitude of life, the being and doing right. It is a condition ascribing that an individual's behavior is in accordance with high moral standards, that the individual follows all rules and does good with his or her life. Righteousness is ultimately and only imputed by the divine. Righteousness in the eyes of man simply describes goodness, which, no doubt, must be attested to by other individuals. For instance, someone could say, "You are more righteous than me, for you did good to me, but I rewarded you with evil." Righteousness begets positive behavior and action. Let's look at the traits of righteousness. Purity of heart and rectitude of life, doing the right thing with the right motive, obedience to the laws of the divine and man, development and application of personal core values. Righteousness is a leeway to anxiety-free life. It is also a leeway for the foliage to flourish. Righteousness is a value attractor. It endears the possessor, becoming an inner circle member. Righteousness endows man with a spirit of diligence and patience. Righteousness is forward-looking and visionary. It does not end with just the first act. It subsists even after the first act. Righteousness is a separator. Just as it is easy to differentiate light from darkness, it is also easy to separate the righteous-minded from the evil-minded. Righteousness depicts a desire to please God by meeting His standards. God's love and secrets are with the righteous. The righteous are accordingly granted knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to operate on higher grounds. Let's look at the characteristics of righteousness. God's favor is on the righteous. Earnings of the righteous are honorable and they attract contentment. Bribery, which blinds the eyes of wisdom to justice, is out of the equation. Righteousness does not frolic with wickedness. It attracts hostility for doing the right thing, but ultimately, God delivers the righteous out of the attendant troubles. It shows kindness and consideration for the poor, even animals. Righteousness does not frolic, like I had said earlier, with wickedness. Righteousness is a legacy keeper for the righteous to be remembered lovingly. What righteousness is not? It is not a favor to God. It is essentially for the exerciser's own good and benefit. Righteousness is not rightness. Rightness may appear logical and circumstantially appropriate by the exerciser. For instance, when a trader, in order to sell, convinces a buyer that his or her wares are the best in the market, thereby telling a white lie. But for the sake of righteousness, he or she will never make such an assertion, knowing it is not the truth. Self-righteousness is not godly righteousness. For instance, when a man rightly and logically puts his self-interest uppermost and delays consideration for God and others. Let's also look at the outcomes of righteousness. Followers of righteousness are not ultimately harmed because they are protected by the divine. Those who sow righteous seeds have their rewards, just like those who sow evil seeds. It is the surest way to greatness. For instance, I read of a story of a young boy who hawks. He refused to be overpaid because of the training he had from his home. His insistence to do what was righteous landed him a scholarship from the offerer of the overpayment. This scholarship benefited him more than the overpayment initially offered him in appreciation. Rightness has a short-term focus, and righteousness has a long-term focus. The fruit of the righteous is only dispensed by God. Let's see righteousness and the nation. We have been told that righteousness exalts a nation. Indeed, so many of the social vices we find in our society today would have been averted if government and citizens are righteous and doing what is just all the time. Righteousness enhances the rating of a nation among the committee of nations and attracts investment opportunities and good reputation for prosperity. Righteousness starts from the individual and transcends to the nation. Let's also look at righteousness and the law. The law enforcement agencies, lawyers, and judges are encouraged by the principle of righteousness to be impassionate regarding their assignments, such that the statement, "With lies ye have made the heart of the righteous sad, whom I have not made sad, and strengthened the hands of the wicked, that he should not return from his wicked ways, by promising him life." This will not have happened, and this will not happen with righteousness. While righteousness is of the faith, law is in the domain of morality. Let's look at righteousness and health. The righteous receive divine healing by keeping the commandments of God and remaining blameless. For it is stated, "Unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. Edmund Blondin, who lived in the period 1896 to 1974, stated, he said, I have been young, and now I am not too old, and I have seen the righteous forsaken, his health, his honor, and his quality taken. This is not what we were formerly told. Sometimes, however, the righteous suffer for their righteousness when God allows, as earlier explained, under the characteristics of righteousness. Let's take the end of thoughts. Righteousness in a sustained manner enables the righteous to live free from the laws of faith and morality of the state. Righteousness encourages brutal truth-telling. Righteousness provides the canons for powerful visions. Righteousness attracts the love and keeps the secrets of God with the odd, but penalizes the unrighteous by infusing in them reprobate thoughts. Righteousness is absolute in the eternal and announces the upright. It leads the righteous to fulfill their destinies in distinct styles. Listeners, let us shun rightness for righteousness and shine like the sun for distinction. Thank you, and God bless you.